everybody, Cone Dodger here, and welcome back to Automation. We are continuing on our little mini-series here with Vector Automotive, comparing it to some real-life 90s cars and trying to compete against them. Last time we went up against the 1990 Toyota Camry, and honestly fell a little bit short of really competing with it. And well, we're gonna stick with the Toyota theme. We're gonna go for a two-door sports car this time, but we're going to go for the everyday sports car. We're not going with a Halo car or anything like that. This is going to be kind of the entry-level sports car. When I say the name, you're gonna know exactly what I mean by that. We are going up against the 1990 Toyota Celica, the Celica GT to be specific. There is a lower model, but I decided to go for kind of the middle of the road one because I'm a middle of the road kind of person. So that's the analog we have to build first. So we need to start a new platform. Jump right on in here with corrosion resistant steel, transverse, MacPherson strut, semi-trailing arm, and corrosion resistant steel. Need to jump down to, not move this screen around, jump down to 1990. Body shell. We have a wheelbase on this one of 99.4. I think this 98.8 is going to be as close as we can get to that. Still double checking. Yeah, that it is indeed. Okay, let's go for black. Oops, I must have forgot something. Body shell. I guess I didn't actually choose it. That would be why. As much of these cars have been kind of ridiculed over time, I actually really kind of like the 1990 Toyota Celica GT. It has a very nice shape to it in some ways. Obviously, like I've mentioned before, not going to worry too much about the aesthetics of these analog cars. So I'm just going to throw some headlights and a grille and taillights on there and call it done. These cars actually had pop-up headlights, but they also had kind of like little slots in the front that the headlights, or like the high beams, would shine through. It was pretty cool. There were some nice design features to it. It's a very 90s looking car. They took all of the raw edges out of it and made it round and aerodynamic looking. Debatably kind of boring looking, but it has a certain sleek, aggressive look to it. Alright, so that's as much detail as I'm going to put into it. Got enough room in the wheel wells and everything, so no need to modify that. I kind of did the front grille thing. The headlights show through, but you can see the grille goes all the way across with the little slats in between. That is how it looked, and that was one of my favorite design features of that car. Alright, so this is the Celica GT analog. So I remember in the future that these are incomplete cars. Alright, so let's choose... Oops, I forgot to put the year on that. Oh well, I'll do that later. New model. And front wheel drive. So the biggest thing we have to do is recreate the engine. Wow, I have no engines that will fit in this car. How strange. I wonder why that is. Surely the 3SFE should fit. I mean, the load engine is too big. I hope that's not going to be an issue. I know this is a rear-wheel drive designed platform for body style, but I hope that's not going to be an issue. Let's see, new engine, inline 4. Perhaps it's just because I designed those on a rear-wheel drive platform. That could be. Let's see. It's a cast iron block, and it's still fitting, but we gotta go to an 87.1. The engine is the Toyota 5SFE, which is an engine I'm pretty familiar with because I owned one. It was in my 1992 MR2. Okay, let's just abandon ship and use the clicks. Use the arrows. 87.1 by 90.9. So fairly square engine, a little bit on the long stroke side. That gives us 2166 cc or 2.2 liter engine. Nothing fancy down below. Actually, I think they are hyper-eustatic. Maybe they're cast. Cast should be fine. It's a very low revving engine. It is dual overhead cam, 4 valves per cylinder with an aluminum head. It is 9.5 to 1 compression, and the cams are very normal. We may even go down from there because it's a very soft running engine. Style wise, let's see, the roundish one, yeah, there we go. And aspiration, oh, is that everything? Yeah. Aspiration is NA. Fuel system, it is multi-point. So we'll go once again down to 1992, I believe. Yeah, 1992. So we'll change up the music. And we'll do single, standard, regular unleaded. We'll go 12.8. We'll mess with the timing later. RPM limit is actually like about 57 to 5800 is what I would say, but we'll go 57. My MR2, it seemed like, yeah, we'll go 58. Seemed like that's kind of where its natural rev limit was anyway. It was kind of an imbalanced engine. Alright, so we'll go with short cast, because that's pretty much what it had. That should be plenty of exhaust pipe, 3-way cat, and a reverse and a straight. Alrighty, so we are aiming for 130 horsepower at 5400 RPM and 144 foot-pounds at 4400. So that's a little bit torque heavy. Like I said, it's kind of a long-stroked, low-end engine, but it's a very smooth engine. Not in the way that it's smooth running. It's very rough running, actually, or at least in my experience it is. And but it's just, as it revs, it doesn't have any real peaky power band. It just kind of goes and goes back down. There's no excitement about it. Alrighty, 144 foot-pounds, so we hit that exactly right. 139 horsepower. Oh, and maybe those pistons are an issue. We will go to hyper-eustatic just to see. And if not, I'll do a test mode real quick. So I'm going to pull a little bit of timing from it. Our octane's pretty close. Yeah, let's run a test mode real quick. Yeah, it seems like everything's alright now. Stop. Test mode. Let's get through that. 142, 137. No, we're still having MTBF issues. So we will go down to 5700. I can't exactly remember what my tech showed. I believe the red line actually started at 5500, but it would go a little higher than that. Alright, that's 136. Let's actually take a little cam profile off of it. 133. I'm going to continue to do that until I start to see it. Until I start to see it dive below. Yeah, there's 129, so we'll go back up a click. But I think that is where we will let it rest. Yeah, 131, 141. So just a hair short on torque, but a hair more on horsepower. That sounds close enough for our analog purposes. So this is the 5S FE, which I can't remember if I built that in the Engine Recreation series or not. The fact that I can't remember all the engines I built, probably an issue. But this is an issue. It's still not going to fit. I wonder why that is. I wonder what we can do to resolve that. We may have to pick a whole different body. Alright, well, I've picked another car body. This one has a slightly longer wheelbase. It is like 101 inches versus the 99.4 we needed. So that shouldn't have too dramatic of a effect on it, but hopefully it has a wider engine bay and a more spacious one. So we will call this one the 1990 Celica GT. Analog. And hopefully this works. That's gonna be a problem if it does not. Right, new model, transverse front wheel drive, choose engine, Alright, now we can choose our 5S FE, and it is a manual with a single standard clutch, 5 speeds. We give it pretty short spacing. I'm gonna guess it has a similar kind of setup to the MR2 that I owned, and even overdrive is not that dramatic. Just on the highway, that thing was revved out like 4,000 RPM going 70 miles an hour down the highway. So not a whole lot of gear to them. So we'll even gear limit it below its estimated top speed. On wheels, that's 14s with kind of a 65. Yeah, I guess that'll work, the 65 profile. And we'll give it a medium compound road. Brakes were solid, just 1 pistons. And front and back. Aerodynamics, none. Making sure I picked none this time. Apparently I accidentally hit semi-clad on the Camry. Oops. And cooling, we don't need all of that. I put that huge grill thing on there. Yeah, we don't need that much cooling. So we'll bring that way down. Interior, it seats 4. I'm gonna say 4. It does have the little seat in the middle, but I don't even know if it actually has a seat belt there. I believe it does not. Interior wise, we'll say it is standard. It's not a premium style car at all. And kind of standard here as well. It's giving me the 10s as if maybe I did not select. I did not select the year when I did the body, so hold the phone. Okay, so now I've got the correct options here. It is a 1990, but it does say 80s. We can live with that. Standard, has power steering. It does not have ABS. Not in 1990. I believe that was an option starting in 1992 on this car, is what I read. And we'll give it standard safety as well. Actually, let's give it premium safety because it did have airbags, which is kind of cutting edge for a 1990s vehicle. My 240s do not, and they did not until 1995. So that's where I'll judge that premiumness from. Suspension-wise, I am going to leave everything basically as it shows, but I'm going to bring the ride height down, and I'm going to give it a little bit more of a stiff suspension. But nothing too crazy. It is a GT style car, so it did have more aggressive suspension, and actually I read that it had a bigger front sway bar, so we'll do that as well. Alright, weight wise, I've got some weight to add to it. It's showing 2478 and I need 2674. So interior, we'll give it some insulation and bump the quality on the safety. 2503. Alright, 2667, that's close enough. I keep bouncing up above it and then down below it, so 2667 is close enough. Plus those curb weight ratings are virtually never correct. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and save this one. That is to be used later to compare against our car, but we got to build ours first, so let's back out of there and make a new platform. Alrighty, before I forget, let's bump the gear down to 1990. I'm going to stick with a monocoque kind of chassis and corrosive resistant. I am not going to, as much as it pains me, I am not going to go with a longitudinal setup. I'm going to kind of directly try and fight this and have a very easy driving, drive it anywhere kind of sports car, not a kind of rough to drive, wouldn't want to drive it in the snow kind of sports car. And I'm not going to do anything too crazy here. I could go with a double wishbone in the back, but it'd be just kind of unnecessary for what we're going for. And steel bodied. Now the body shell, we had to use, let's see, which one was it? This guy. I would like to not use that one. I'd like to kind of try and use this one, even though it looks kind of 80s. We're gonna say that we're going to try 90s this up with the fixtures and maybe some body molding here. So we'll stand... Well, we won't want to stand that up. We want to have it pretty aero looking. What can I do with the back? Kind of extend it? No. Alrighty, so I may have gone a little goofy here, I'm not gonna lie, in trying to differentiate this car from the pack. You gotta think we're going up against your early CRXs, the obviously the Celica. You have, I believe, the Integra was in this era. You have the Mitsubishi Eclipse and the Talon and all of those DSM spin-offs. You also have the American manufacturers with... Oh wait, they don't have anything. Let's see. Also, kind of have the Miata, but that's not a 2+2, so I'm not going to count it. It's got to be a 4-seater. I'm sure there's others that I'm forgetting, but in this kind of 2+2 sports coupe kind of class, we've got this guy with its quad headlights and its tiny grille and extended, weird-looking indicators. I kind of like it. It's a little bit borrowed of a American headlight kind of design, but overall it kind of rounds out the front even though they are square. The back I'm pretty pleased with. Used some parts bins parts there with our previous taillights from the sedan. Alright, so that is the most important part down. We can save this. Now for this guy, I am going to not go with any kind of weird Spanish name or anything. I'm going to bring back my long-standing nameplate, the Axis, and this will be a long-lasting car in my lineup if I have anything to do with it. Unless they, like, vote me out of being CEO of my own company, which happens. Let's see, let's go over and select. Where'd you go? There it is. And new model. And it's going to be front-wheel drive. Boo. So you got to try and make an engine that fits in this tiny little engine bay. It looks like it's going to fit pretty much anything in the inline 4 category, even a V8. No. But we got to make something new. Now we have our engine from last time, which was the single overhead cam 4-cylinder, the 1.9 SE, kind of very economy. If I was going up against the I believe it's the ST Celica is the base one, this is the engine I might choose. But we need something a little bit different. So we're going to revise this engine, and we're going to make something a little bit more high performance out of it. So on the bottom end, let's see, that's 86 by 82. I think I'm going to leave the bore and stroke the same. So we're going to say we're going to use the same bottom end. Now if you remember from last episode, I basically have some rules when it comes to the engine design to kind of limit this and make it more scenario or campaign-like. And that is that I can only make one prototype engine, make the changes, and whatever it runs that second run is what we have to keep. So it makes sense to kind of reuse the same core elements of an engine we've already built for this one, because it kind of cuts down on the amount of resources we have to use and the amount of research we'd have to do. So what I would like to do is kind of go for a dual overhead cam setup on the same engine with 4 valves per cylinder. Now last time it looked like we were a little bit low on our fuel octane. We could have run a little bit more. I would like to get over the 130 horsepower mark though. That's my goal, even with the smaller displacement. And I think we can do that with the higher rev limit that we have available. And what I'm going to do is do some hypertactic pistons to try and help that, and our short stroke helps that. Let's go for a more aggressive cam profile up to 45, which might hurt our economy versus the Celica, but that's okay. We're working with this single point in EFI injection, so we're pretty much screwed when it comes to fuel economy. Anyway, Exhaust-wise, I don't think there's much I need to change here. Yeah, not really. Let me think. Do we run it? Do we run it or do we not? Let's see, 12.7, that might give us a little wiggle room. Let's go to 30. I think the dual overhead cam setup's going to help us with our knock issues. Alright, let's run it. Oh, I don't like the way that chart looks. That's not good. Okay, if nothing else, that's a decent increase in both horsepower and torque. We went from 197 to 118 and 109 to 118. And overall, nothing went wrong. We are way short on our AKI fuel rating, which means we have up to 86, and we're only using 83.9. So the problem with that is that I would obviously like to increase either the timing or the compression ratio. Personally, I would like to increase the compression ratio a little bit and the timing a little bit, but I can't go too bananas with it because if we go over this, then we're stuck. And we got to use an engine that is knocking for our test. So even that's going to make me back off even just down to a 99.1 to 1. So I'm guessing we're probably not going to make any more than 120 horsepower. So it looks like we're going to be about 10 horses down on the Celica, but that doesn't mean we've lost just yet. Let's see if we do hit that 120 mark. Just barely didn't. 119. That's okay. Let's make sure no issues. Not that we can do anything about it. 84.4, yeah, I could have gone with a little bit more, but oh well. Did help our responsiveness as well and the economy, so pluses all around. So it's going to be the 19DE. So pretty quick little job there because again we used the same core elements for this engine. That's not what we're going to do all of the time. We do need to make a couple more engine platforms for our company. That'll be in the future. So let's choose that guy. Manual gearbox, single standard clutch, 5-speed. I don't know why double clutch is even available if you're building a 1990 platform. I guess it's not really, that hasn't been implemented into the model designer. Give it again kind of the short gearing and similar. You can see our estimated top speed is a little bit less than the Celica's, but we gave that car, or that car had shorter gearing, so hopefully our top speed will be about the same. Hopefully. 14s are about average for this era. I'm gonna try and give it some wider tires. 195s, which is not that wide, but wider. And we'll do the same medium compound road. Solid discs, not gonna go too crazy here. Kind of the same setup as on the Celica. Braking technology is pretty limited when you talk about early 90s vehicles. Not much emphasis on that. Alright. None. Cooling airflow down all the way pretty much. And we do have a front lip on this car, so that might help a little bit. And I'm going to actually try to use that, but I don't want to use it too much because it's gonna introduce drag, and we don't have the power for that. Right, we can select 4 seats. I was worried about that. Standard interior, basic entertainment. I don't really want this car to be in the luxury category at all. Power steering, and we'll say standard safety with a little bit of quality bump on that. And we'll even take a little bit off entertainment. We'll leave the interior quality where it is. Suspension wise, again a little bit stiffer. I'm going to go even a step further and say a little stiffer than the Celica and a little bit more aggressive. Suspension wise, and lower it down. A little less practical, but a little bit more sporty. Alright, so here we have it. Oh, that's what I was hoping for, our weight. Because this is a shorter wheelbase car, now it's going to hurt in some of the things like the comfort and the practicality or utility, I believe it's called. Things like that. But it should help with our sportiness and just the performance of the car. So now, once again, I need to do all of this kind of off-camera stuff to combine the two cars together. So we will start comparing them side by side. Okay, so here we have it. We've got the screen that my mouse is on is the Celica, and below that is our Vector axis. And here is the detailed overview. So let's see, we got 131 horsepower from the Celica, and we only ended up with 119, so a little bit lacking there, but the weight on the Celica was 2667, we ended up with 2307. Weight balance, or weight distribution, virtually the same, 58.7 versus 58.9. Top speed, 133.5 versus 123.6, so a little bit slower. 0 to 60, 9.1 versus 9.3 for hours, so unfortunately we did not quite make up the performance we needed with the weight to get the same acceleration. 16.9 to a 16.8 quarter mile. Braking 50.7 to a 45.9, so we have better braking. And 0.87 to a 0.96, so better G's as well. But as far as this goes, tameness, the Celica was actually a little less tame, which is surprising. I guess probably because of our less power combined with better handling. Sportiness, 4.7 to a 6.9. I would have liked to seen our car get a little bit better on the sportiness. I was hoping to increase that gap much more than this. So these are the only two we won out on. It's tameness and sportiness, which is strange when you think about it. Comfort, we got trumped there, 36.4 to a 23.1. Prestige, 20 to a 13.7. And safety, pretty good little difference there too, 35.2 to a 24.4. So our gamble on going low weight to get sportiness didn't really pay off because we lost out on comfort, prestige. Well, not really prestige, but comfort and safety were the two biggest things we lost out on. But that's not all. This is a sports car after all, so there's still one thing we have to check. And that is to run it around the airfield track. I'm not going to let you mirror. I'm not going to make you sit through the automation track because these cars are slow. Alrighty, so the Vector axis with a time of 102.63 versus the Celica GT with a 104.29. So this raises the question, which car would you buy? Would you buy the Vector, which is debatably a little bit uglier, but overall on the track is faster than, say, the Celica GT, but the Celica GT has more comfort, more prestige, and is overall safer. And when you look at it, it is faster, 0 to 60, and straight line kind of speed, it is faster. Once again, when you put them on a track, the Vector is going to be quicker. So what's more important to you? Let me know in the comments below. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you next time. So that's going to do it for this time. Then bring the